What is up, guys? It is Simba here, and welcome back to another league racing video on F123. And this is round number 2 in AEC in COTA for the Texas Grand Prix. One of my worst tracks on this entire game, but we are coming off a very, very good race in Australia. As you can see, we are P6 in the Drivers' Championship, and we are P5 in the Constructors' Championship, which takes the main priority because this is a team's championship. So the higher we are in the championship, the better it will be. So get subscribed for more content. This race was about 2 weeks ago. I've already recorded round 4 and we're going to be on a break week, so I'm quite behind on the schedule, thanks to uni being a pain in the arse with several assignments in one go. So yeah, the next few videos you'll see, they'll be a little bit behind. They've already been done a few weeks ago, maybe even a week ago. So yeah, sorry about that, as I am trying to balance the upload schedule along with uni. But yeah, uni taking centre stage at the moment as we are on our one and only lap here at COTA, just coming through the first sector, as yeah, going through the sweeping S section, the B-Tech S section really, as we do a 25.1, which isn't too bad for a banker lap, as Bourbon Boy sets the banker lap, as that's the fastest lap so far, as we're just going through the middle sector, heavy braking at the 50-metre board, down to third gear. And the main thing is you just want to get on the traction as early as you can out of the corner and down towards his long back straight towards the third sector, as Bobbitt's goes fastest now. And going into this one, I was not feeling confident with qualifying at all. As you know, this is one of my worst tracks as we go into this left-hander. You can cut it a little bit. I think we did a decent job at it. And it's a solid middle sector with a 1.8, so not too bad. I don't think it's really going to be troubling anyone at the front, but it's just about getting this lap on the board. So coming through at the triple right-hander here, the B-Tech Turkey corner, as we prepare for turn 19. One of the hardest corners on this track, and it's crucial to get it right as we swing in a fifth gear. Decent exit as well, good minimum speed as we go through the last corner now, open up the exit, and it's a very short run to the line. It's a 31.8, and that puts us into P11, which was a decent banker lap. And unfortunately, we don't really improve it. So that's it. That's the one lap. And we are P11 right now. And we end up down in P13. Now, COTA's not a great track for me historically on these games, and it's no different here. And I was really struggling with setups. I was trying different setups, and I could do 1,000 laps around this track. I still won't enjoy it, and I probably still won't go any faster. So, yeah, I'll take a points position to start the race. 6/10 off Allison, who probably wasn't even happy with his lap. But, yeah, let's see if we can get anything out of this race and see what we can do. So here we are, preparing for the start of the race. We're going to be starting on the hard tyres, as always, and the plan is to go long because there is a possibility of rain near the end. My teammate for this race, his name is Polo in the game, but it's actually FG Lucas, who is AERT Lucas now, as he left the team shortly after this race. But we're going to give it a go and see what happens. He didn't have a great qualifying, so he's going to try and get some points, and so are we, as we're up to 5 red lights here in COTA, and away we go for the Texas Grand Prix, and we're going to see what we can get out of this race. And it's not a bad start as we go into the first corner. You can see the Mercedes, a typical, just sends it up the inside of the Alpine. It causes a Cosentino effect. We make contact with Joe Murphy in the Aston Martin, and you can see Stannard's, he's ghosted past us there, and he's on the medium tyres, and apparently he didn't do much practice here as we're going into the middle sector now. He makes contact with Sam, and he's round.
Stanners is actually really brain dead. What's he doing there? The move was never on.
And poor Sam has not made it past the first lap. Stanners went for a gap that simply wasn't there. You can hear me rambling about it in the background. But, yeah, don't know what Stanners was doing there. I think FRC ended up, getting another points deduction, and they were already on negative points as well, which is ridiculous, and ended up folding a few days later. So yeah, weird start. We've managed to stay in 13th, but now here comes a very crucial moment of the race. I originally told Lucas to stay out on hards, but then I changed my mind. It was quite a late call, as you can hear in the background, and yeah, we're gonna have to box. We're choosing to box for medium tyres, and simply it's because if you guys remember to my SLR race in Brazil, Darren stayed out on hard tyres, and he ended up getting swarmed by several cars on medium tyres. So the idea is, you know, if you're at the back of the train here, if you're at the back of the queue, you might as well box for a new set of tyres and try and push your way up a little bit higher up the field by the time everyone else gets to pit. So that's kind of the thinking behind this. And I should have told my teammate to do the same thing, as he's in a very similar position. He managed to gain 2 places off the start. And yeah, in hindsight, I wish I got him to box the lap before, so we'd both be on fresh medium tyres, and yeah, he wouldn't have such a hard time on the restart. And you're going to see that shortly. First of all, safety car is coming in at the end of lap number 3. Stanitz is in front of us on hard tyres, so the main priority is to pass him, and he's not got the best restart either. So, and he's defending thin air and dust going into the last corner. So we need to pass him if we want to try and make any progress on these medium tyres. We're using the overtake because you need higher wings around here, and our wings are quite high. So we're going to be struggling on the straights, but we go up the inside into turn 1, and it's up into P16 already. So we've picked up the first car, and now we're going to try and follow suit with, I think that's TF10 Nico, just in front of us. We were quite close to him in Australia, so familiar driver right behind us. And you can see our teammate, I think he's already struggling here. He's already gone backwards a bit, as, yeah, F1 Nico also on the medium tyres, and he goes up the inside. And yes, that is our teammate already losing places on the restart. So it's not looking great for him. And by the time we get to the end of lap 4, we are about to pass him. So he's wanting us to pass him going into turn 1. And that is exactly what we're going to do. You can see he's moved out of the way a bit. And we're not using any overtake. And we're going to go up the inside going into turn 1. But Partik behind us has other ideas.
What the hell? Oh my god. Where did he come from?
And you can hear me quite surprised with the Hassis send up the inside as he tried to take both of us there. Both places for P15. He got one Williams. He didn't get the other one. But unfortunately for my teammate, he's lost another 2 places in one corner. So, yeah, Lucas not having a great time of things, as AMS Gergo in front of us. He also stayed out on hard tyres, so we're going to try and pass him as soon as possible, because it's going to be really important to keep up with the other medium runners in this race. You see Joe Murphy as well, who's dropped back a bit on the hard tyres. And by lap 6, DRS has been enabled, and you can see we're going to be using a lot of the battery here because we don't have great straight line speed. And we're closing in on Gergo. Up the inside we go, into the hairpin, and we absolutely send it there. And it is another position. And now we're back into the points-paying positions on lap 6. And we've got Joe Murphy, last week's race winner in Australia, right ahead of us. So we're going to see what happens. We skip a few laps. The mediums now are not really great, as Nico and Partik are ahead of us. They were fighting into turn 1, but Nico here is going to cost us dearly here, because he's going to have a massive moment through that right-hander. Partik almost goes off the circuit, and I quickly realised that we're going to be in trouble. We can try and get a nice switchback on the Haas. There's a bit of contact, but the main thing is we're all screwed now, because we've lost the DRS on the cars ahead. The DRS train is broken, and that's going to make our lives a lot harder. So Partik is going to want to pass Nico, and he's got a 3-second penalty as well. So does Lucas behind us. And yeah, the Haas goes through. Nico sits behind. He is flashing, and I did wish I pass him a bit sooner. I mean, I could have taken the chance there, but we're just not close enough. But yeah, Nico just in front of us. Lost DRS, but yeah, there's still a bit of respect between me and him. We were teammates in SLR, racing in BBS, and, you know, in AEC in the pre-season at the start of the game as well. So, you know, still got the respect for him there. As we get to lap 15, Bobbitt's pitted for medium tyres as he's going to try and push till the rain arrives. And I believe Typical behind us has had a spin. As he goes up the inside, we make contact with Nico, trying to avoid Typical's charge up the inside in the Mercedes. And he's on hard, so the hards are going to be a lot quicker at this rate. And he's going to keep going at us here.
Oh my god. Okay then, Typical lad.
Keep on him, he might make a mistake.
And yeah, Typical has a massive send going into that left-hander. And to be fair to him, he's made the move work. He's up into P13, And to be fair, he was on the better tyres. You can see the little icon on the screen on the bottom right-hand side. That means our tyres have hit 60%. And yeah, these tyres are feeling pretty bad at this rate. You can see Lucas has caught up with us as well. So the hard tyres are the much better tyre. And now we're going to finally try and pass our former SLR teammate. We're using up the battery. Again, the straight line speed isn't great. But just like we did to the Haas earlier, we're going to go up the inside, going into this left-hander. We make contact with him. Meanwhile, Magician is out of the race for NVR, and that has brought out a safety car on lap 17, and the timing could not have been better here, because that's given everyone a free pit stop, and the rain is arriving. You can see the clouds have gotten a lot darker in the transition in between laps, so we're going to box along with everybody else, and we're going to put on a set of intermediate tyres.
Just watch the line. Good.
Right, let's go. Come on. That was a fantastic stop. Faster
Oh, I'll take those 3 more places.
Up to speed
Up to P11 we go.
into those tires.
And as you can see, we've managed to gain a few places in the pit lane, and we are up into P11. So the top 10 is right in front of us, and we only have 2 warnings. So we do have to be careful about getting a third one. But there are cars in front of us with penalties, and Joe Murphy is one of them. So at this point, I'm thinking a top 10. Despite it being very unlikely through this entire race, it could actually be on the cards. 9 laps to go. The safety car is coming in once again for the second time in this race, and we're all on the intermediates. So now it's a job of just trying to adapt from driving in the dry for qualifying and most of this race to driving in the wet. And you can see Murphy's already pouncing on Typical as we get going here, and Murphy right alongside the Mercedes here going into the first corner. Can he make the move going here into the first corner? Heavy braking up the inside. He does get Typical, and he made it look pretty easy as well, as we turn in far too early for the first corner. We even have a massive moment through turn 2, but we keep it facing the right way, but things are about to get pretty messy. You can see AMS Partick has also been passed by Joe Murphy, and Typical wants to follow him through. Up the inside he goes into this hairpin. He pushes the Haas off the track, which is brilliant. Partick is not having this. There's contact between the two of them. I'm watching this with a bucket of popcorn, and Partick is not happy. He's going to return the favour up the inside, and he definitely does push Typical off the track. And you can hear me saying it's getting a bit messy as Typical picks up a penalty. But for us, we get a brilliant run on the Mercedes car going into turn 19. And we're going to try and go up the inside. Can we get it done? No, we don't.
Oh, you're such a twat, man. He just turns in like I'm not there.
And unfortunately, it has gone completely wrong. And you can hear me complaining in the background because I don't want you to hear what I'm saying, because it's not very nice, to say the least. He turns in like I'm not there. And even up to now, watching this nearly 2 weeks later, I don't really know what he's doing. I think we're proficiently alongside to make the corner and to make the move. He needs to leave a bit more space. And yeah, that's completely ruined our race, because now the conditions have gotten a lot worse. Lap 21 now, and the conditions have gotten a lot worse, so it means we're going to box for wet tyres. So the timing of this could not be any worse. We are literally 2 laps after the safety cars ended. Everyone is so far ahead. Our teammates box as well for wets, and we're going to get held a bit thanks to the double stack, as you can see. We've stacked with our teammate who hasn't really made much progress in the wet conditions. And yeah, we're on the wets and a long, long way away from where we were before that collision. And unfortunately, we don't gain anything from it. We're still 16th. So we're behind everyone on older tyres. And the only thing we've got going for us now is that we don't have a penalty. And that's the only way we're going to gain places back in this race. So if we get a penalty, we've basically ruined our race. And
no! For fuck's sake!
And we get the dreaded 3-second penalty. So yeah, what a disaster. You know, it could have been a top 10 finish, but yeah, unfortunately, it's not gone that way. And we get a penalty, which kind of just confirms our miseries in this Grand Prix. And it's going to be a very long 3 laps And here we go then, last lap of the race. You can see my teammate has got 14 seconds of penalties. He had a terrible race. And yeah, it's not going to help him. He is in the points right now, but there's no way he's going to get points with that many penalties. And joining us at the back here is TTM Allison in the McLaren, who got pole position. And he's down in 15th place. So he's had an absolute mare of a Grand Prix. But there are still places to be won up ahead. So we're going to keep going. And Lucas is helping us hold up Allison, as he's all over the shop coming out of that right-hander. We're going to see if we can have a look going into the triple right-hander by getting a switchback on the McLaren. But Lucas is all over the place. Allison has been all over the place as he actually spins out along with Lucas. Oh, they both part like the Red Sea on our way through. So we're up into 14th. And I think parting in front of us has got 9 seconds of penalties. And we're just within his penalty range. So we're going to keep going. Round the final corner we go. And we're going to finish 14th on track. But we do get the extra place from Partick. And it's P13. But unfortunately, as you're going to see with the final results, you can hear me being very frustrated with the collision. We actually got demoted to 14th as Partick got his penalty removed. So, yeah. Only 1 point from this race, a complete contrast to Australia. And yeah, the collision with Typical just did no favours. You know, he got a lot of hate in the AEC chats, and after the race, we weren't the only person that we were, you know, involved with colliding with him. But yeah, just one moment can ruin the race. And unfortunately, we've dropped to 8th place in the championship. A few teams have jumped ahead of us after scoring big points. So yeah, we took a massive dub in Australia, getting P6, probably our best race on the game, and we've taken a massive L here in COTA. And yeah, it could have been a top 10, but you know, thanks to some terrible racecraft, we don't quite get it. But we're going to try and bounce back in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this race. Subscribe for more, and as always, I'll see all of you in the next one.